kudos here. Stepping in the organization. And we are moments away from this title matchup, Joe Todd, a heavyweight fight if there ever was one. Hill United and New Zealand Black Sox. Hill United in blue with gray, stepping out. Adam Falkard on the mound, as you would expect for the Chiefs in a game of this magnitude. Leading off for the visiting New Zealand Black Sox, it will be Ben Anoka, followed by Jerome Rymaki, Brad Rona, Donnie Hale in the 4 spot, Thomas Anoka playing left field tonight, Nathan Nuku moving up in the order. He was down at the bottom the other night. Campbell Makia, Stephen Ratu back behind the plate after getting hit by a pitch Wednesday night. Tyrone Bartarillo, and it's Regan Manley who will be towing the rubber for the Black Sox here this evening. Set the defense for you for the Hill United Chiefs. It is left to right across the outfield. Mark Johnson, Brad Ezekiel, Jeff Ellsworth. And on the infield, Craig Crawford at third base. James Todd Hunter at short. Nick Shales at second. Steve Mullally at first. Catching is Jason Sanford. There's the throw down to second base. And we are moments away here from game time. We'll ask Al for a level check. How are we doing over there, Al?
Here.
We're good. We're on the air. Joe Todd, welcome into the booth here in Lancaster Park in St. Catharines. It's not that long since we were here last fall, but a lot has changed since then. The weather is a little bit warmer here than the last time, and the ball is going to be moving just a little bit quicker here tonight.
Really looking forward to this game. A great matchup, and one that people have been looking forward to all since this tournament schedule was released. So this should be a great matchup here between Adam Falkard and Regan Manley.
Falkard misses down and away for ball one. Ben Anoka at the plate leading off, as he traditionally does for the Black Sox the last few years. This one upstairs. Mike Morrissey is umpiring out at third base, and that looks like Lou Davis has moved over to first base, if my eyes are correct there, Joe.
Yep.
And I'm not sure who's behind the plate.
Dave Selden from Michigan.
I was going to guess that just from the stance. There's a called strike. So 2-1 on Ben Anoka. Ben playing center field. Good crowd on hand here in St. Catharines. This one upstairs for ball 3, so 3-1. Larry Lynch, Joe talked in the opening about the history of fastball here in this city, and we'll chat about that, as you and I are no strangers to this park, been here many times over the years. Volker comes in, this one sliced foul out of play on the right side, so full count, leading things off for Ben Anoka and the New Zealand Black Sox. They've got the black jerseys trimmed in white and red with the white pants on tonight.
Has Adam been doing much wrong?
Well, he got here a week ago Friday off a 36-hour flight and got to face Team Canada.
Welcome.
Down on strikes goes Ben Anoka, so Falkard falling behind but finds the range. And that'll bring up Jerome Rymaki. Jerome had a home run in Mississauga the other night, deep into the night sky.
With one out, number 6, the third baseman, Jerome
Rymaki has all the tools. A great arm, great infielder, just a perfect package.
Yeah, you talk about a 5-tool player, it's Jerome Rymaki. Good wheels, strong arm, hits for average, hits for power. And it can put down the small one from time to time when you need him to as well.
Kind of surprising to see him in the tool, really. But when you can do it all, they got so many variables there to play with that lineup in this roster. So they brought a lot of guys over too. So
well, this is the A team that's on the tour, and this is the A team lineup by and large. Falkard misses downstairs. 3 balls to Jerome Rymaki, who, Joe, is only, I believe, just 21, 22 years old.
Yeah, I think he's 22 this year.
And has supplanted Brad Rona at third. Brad has moved over to first for the Black Sox. There's a called strike on the outside corner. Brad playing the one bag for New Zealand, as he has already on the first couple games on the tour.
Still a threat at the plate, though.
Oh, absolutely. Hit a couple of balls hard. There's a called strike. Rymacki thought he had worked his way on with a walk. So Falkert goes full count on the first two batters for the Black Sox.
Rymacki just trying to regroup there.
One hopper. Shales has to go up the ladder to go get it and flips over to first for the out. The infield, Joe, I can tell you, is very hard. There's a layer on top, but it's hard underneath. It's been baked by the sun the last couple of days, and the ball will get up in the air on the hop.
Number 15.
Nick handled that very cleanly, though. Stayed right in front of the ball. Even though the ball took a good high bounce on him, he was able to corral it in and forward over to Steve for the second out of the inning.
So Brad Rona in the 3 spot. And misses downstairs. So Falkert struggling to find the range a little bit early. When Adams on, he usually gets out ahead, but it's early in the year as well.
Yeah, he's probably still trying to find his routine, and I'm sure it's been a while since he's worked with Jason Sanford too. So
yeah, the first weekend for everybody. Hill did play that single game against Team Canada last weekend, but that was it, a single game. So I'm sure Adam is still figuring out what time zone he's in as well. Called strike on the outside corner. I talked to Adam briefly downstairs, and he mentioned a 36-hour journey to get here. I can't imagine 36 hours in airplanes and airports. That's dedication.
you have to love the game.
That's dedication.
Just missing on the outside there on that pitch by Adam Fulcard.
So 3-1 on Brad Rona. After this, the Kiwis will get back onto a plane, and they'll go out to Saskatoon on Monday. And there's a called strike. And hard up the middle, Shales on the backhand turns, flips for the out. Good ground ball play there. Good defense by Nick Shales as he gets a pair of outs. For New Zealand, nothing across in the top of the first inning. We'll head to the second. We'll be taking 30-second breaks in between innings. Stay with us. We'll be back. Thanks.
For the New Zealand Black Sox in the top of the first inning, nothing across.
Back here on the ISC Network, Blair Setford and Joe Todd. If you're just joining us here at Lancaster Park in downtown St. Catharines, the jewel in the middle of the city, and Joe, in the opening ceremonies, Larry Lynch was talking about some of the history here at Lancaster Park. I can tell you, the first time I sat down to watch some top ball here was in 1980 at the Canadian Junior Championships. And if memory serves, that was the first time a host team would win the Canadian Championships in their own park.
Yeah, I was only down here once in the 80s, and that was with the Cleveland Juniors, I believe. It was sponsored by the newspaper. The person that owned the local newspaper.
Bill Cleveland, who, I don't know about the newspaper, but I know he owned a steelworks here in town and some other businesses as well. And sponsored teams for years and years. And in fact, one of the divisions here is named the Bill Cleveland Division.
Yeah, so a big tradition here. We're really glad to be welcomed back to St. Catharines and to Lancaster Park. It really is a jewel.
So leading things
and a great
off,
crowd tonight too.
Leading things off for the Hill United Chiefs here in the bottom of the first inning. Bradley Ezekiel followed by Jeff Ellsworth, then Nick Shales. We'll get the New Zealand defense for you in a second. I can tell you it is Thomas Anoka in left, Ben Anoka in center, Campbell Macchia in right, so it's an all-Toronto Gator outfield. Jerome Rymacki at third, Tyrone Bartarillo at short, Nathan Nuku plays second base today, and Brad Rona. Stephen Ratu behind the plate. Stephen got hit by a pitch in Mississauga on Wednesday. They were worried that hand might have been broken. It was right on the back of the hand. And he's back behind the plate. They got some ice on it and some physiotherapy, and right back behind the dish. Those catchers are pretty tough.
Yeah, they're built with a different color of skin there. That's a good, tough guy that he doesn't want to miss a game.
Regan Manley was on the mound against Toronto on Wednesday night. Gave up a couple of hits. Aaron Trude had a 2-run home run to account for the Gators' runs. Regan throws down hard and has got a good rise ball as well, but it tends to jump up out of the zone from time to time. Older brother Jeremy back at home in Illinois, with a broken bone in his leg, and was going to be on the tour, but unable to join us. So if you're tuned in, Jeremy, hello from us here at the ISC Network.
Okay.
Wish you well, and look forward to seeing you back out on the field.
Okay.
Heal up quickly, son.
Okay.
So Regan falling behind Bradley Ezekiel here. Swing and a miss. Down goes Bradley Ezekiel. So there was 2 strikes, and down Bradley Ezekiel. That was the changeup from Regan Manley. Took something off, and Brad well out in front of it.
Real good change of speeds there. Good mix. Good call there by Stefan Ratu.
Jeff Ellsworth will come to the plate. And Joe Todd, when we last saw Jeff Ellsworth, he was flying out to right field, and there was a bit of a controversy that erupted after that.
Oh, yes. I remember that play now.
It's on the cover of the ISC guide, Joe.
Yeah.
Ellsworth, deep left field, way back and gone. A line drive home run.
That was a little off field, too, but he had lots of power to drive that ball.
Just off to center left, Jeff Ellsworth into the night sky, through the trees, over the back fence, onto, what's the street out there, Rich? Out on the Carlton Street. Just missed a passing car, so Jeff Ellsworth gets Hill United on the board in a hurry.
Ben Anoka did not even move for that ball, really. It was a rocket off the bat.
Nick Shales now to the plate. And there's a called strike in the outside corner.
Number 27, the second baseman, Nick Shales.
After the tour is done, Regan will go down to Pueblo and will join our good friend and colleague Chris Santos. Shales swings over the top of that. As the tradition of the Manleys playing in Pueblo continues, the Pueblo Bandits coming up to Kitchener for the World Tournament for the 20th, I believe, 20th consecutive year. And Manley misses down and away. He did this a lot in Mississauga the other night. He nibbled on the corners. Ratu not quite as mobile behind the plate as Patty Shannon, who would move from side to side from the batter's box to the other batter's box. This one misses upstairs. Shannon would virtually leave the umpire unprotected back there, and if you ever missed, you were going to wear one as a blue.
Reagan just doesn't look comfortable out there.
This one misses downstairs, so
The boys in your game, Blair, talk about the mound at all?
Well, like I said, the diamond is hard, so he may be just struggling to establish a landing spot out there. Yeah. So full count on Shales. And this one launched way back into deep center field. Back to back, deep and deeper for the Hill United Chiefs. So, Joe, there's Carlton, there's the QEW. That one might have come down on the other side on Geneva Street.
Yeah.
We'll give you a little St. Catharines geography lesson here. And you go from the frying pan to the fire with Steve Mullally.
Number 33, the first baseman, Steve Mullally.
Again, getting behind on the count there, Manley, and then he had to serve up the pitch to Shale. So it's a very potent lineup you're playing against tonight.
And this one top foul at the plate. Steve was looking to make it 3 in a row there. Came right out of the shoes with the swing. Well, you talk about this being a hitter's park, Joe, with the short porch in right field, 240 down the line and left, but the home runs tonight have mostly been no-doubters. One of them was a bit of a fence scraper, but everything else tonight, as there were a couple in the early game here as well. So, bottom of the first inning, 1 down, and then 2 solo home runs back-to-back. Jeff Ellsworth and Nick Shales. That gets us to Steve Mullally and Hill United with that early 2-0 lead. And sometimes with Adam Falkert on the mound, Joe, 2 can be enough.
Yeah, he's a real shutdown pitcher, especially with the ladies. Very tough.
Called strike on that outside corner. We talked about this last year with Adam Falkert being probably the best front-running pitcher out there.
Yeah, he's got quite an array of pitches though too, and he's perfect as far as hitting the glove. He sets the target, the catcher sets the target, and he's within millimeters of hitting that target.
Change up, Mullally way out in front, waves. They throw down to first to complete the strikeout. And that'll bring up the designated player, Jason Hill.
2 strikeouts, 2 home runs.
I hadn't noticed, I didn't even notice that Jason Hill wasn't on the infield for Hill United.
No.
It's Craig Crawford at third base, but Jason Hill has occupied that spot the last couple of years. That misses off the corner, so Regan Manley falling behind the batter is not something you want to do with this potent Hill United lineup.
No, you pretty well have to stay ahead so that you can throw the pitch that you want to throw. When he's getting behind the count, he's pretty well have to come down Main Street, and that's been lights out so far with this Hill United lineup.
Hill jackknifes back out of the way of that one. It's Jason Hill's father, John Hill, coaching third base for the Hill United Chiefs. Larry Legend, that was the tournament he used to run. Larry Lynch is coaching first base. And Hill out in front chops this one right into the glove of Brad Rona. But the Hill United Chiefs score 2 solo home runs back-to-back by Jeff Ellsworth and Nick Shales, so 1 complete. And it's Hill United 2 and New Zealand no score. We'll be back.
For the Hill United Chiefs in the bottom of the first inning, they scored 2 runs on 2 hits. There were no errors and no one left on base. So your score after 1 inning of play, the Hill United Chiefs 2, the New Zealand Black Sox no score.
Back here on the ISC network, heading into the top of the second inning, it will be Donnie Hale to lead things off for the New Zealand Black Sox. Here's one of those guys, Joe, you don't want to be in the bathroom when he comes to the plate. You don't want to miss his at-bats.
Especially with the short porch, too, at this time.
So that's a nice target, nice inviting target for Donnie Hale.
Donnie Hale.
It's interesting to see where Bradley Ezekiel is playing Donnie slightly off field towards right. They've given him all of right field as Jeff Ellsworth is shaded way over towards center, so they're counting on him going opposite field into that gap. There's a 42.5-footer from Falkard. Donnie scorched 2 balls to absolute dead straightaway center field on Wednesday night, and Aaron Trude caught one of them at the fence, took away a home run, and the other one he had to jump for and caught that one as well, or it would have been headed out. Donnie called a strike on the swing, tried to pull it back, but no, says Dave Selden.
Nice pitch there by Folkard, catching that outside corner. And it dropped it, tailed off at the end.
Swing and a miss. Down goes Donnie Hale. Tied him up with an inside drop ball. Real good looking pitch there from Adam Folkard. Almost looked like he took a little bit off that
Number
too.
20, left fielder,
Having a
Thomas
changeup.
Inoka.
Took a bit off and tied up Donnie Hale.
Well, you really don't have to take too much off. You've got to just make sure that you throw it for a strike and either keep it down or keep it out a little bit out of the strike zone. It's enough of it. You're going to change the eye level of that ball, so that's the key point of that whole pitch.
Thomas Inoka hitting in the 5 spot. There's a called strike. Thomas has been on a hot streak of late. Banged in some RBIs for the Toronto Gators in the qualifier. Got the Gators into the World Tournament. And then hit one out in Stouffville on Tuesday night and another one in Mississauga on Wednesday. So swinging a hot stick, and when you're in the 5 spot to protect Donnie Hale, you're going to see some pitches.
Yeah.
Called strike on the outside corner. Thomas Inoka is going to have a quick word with Dave Selden. Bit of a shake of the head. Look from here, and we've got a pretty good vantage point that it caught the corner. This one misses upstairs. And that same pitch that he got Hale on, no, says Lou. Are you sure that's Lou Davis down there?
No, that's Jay Hart, I believe.
Is it?
Is it? I'm pretty sure it's Jay.
Jay Hart at first base, so I didn't think that he went around. Looked like he held it back. And this one is flared down the right side, and that's going to fall foul out of play. Hill United's out in front 2-0 here on the ISC network. Blair Setford, Joe Todd, if you're just joining us. Bit of a jury rig setup for us here tonight as we've managed to create a hotspot with an iPhone to be able to bring you this game. As far as we can tell, and Al Doran, maybe you've got some insight into this. As far as we can tell, this is one of, if not the first times, the current ISF World Champion and the current ISC World Champion have met. We can't think of any others. Thomas Inoka works a walk, so the first base runner of the evening for the New Zealand Black Sox.
Number 12, the second baseman, Nathan Nukanuka.
So, Joe, it won't be a perfect game tonight.
No.
We had one of those with Adam last year. The Black Sox captain, Nathan Nukanuku, at the plate. Nate moved over to second base, played some shortstop on Wednesday. Also played some second. Taking over as captain for Reese Casely after Reese retired following the World Championship in 2013. Retired from international play, let's be clear. He'll be playing with the Gremlins. Not sure if he's here this weekend or not, but he will be with the New York Gremlins again for ISC. I know when I was talking to Greg Leather a few weeks back, he said they were going to be a little short-handed for this tournament. I don't think Andrew Kirkpatrick is in town yet, but I'm expecting Sean Whitten and Dean Holine on the mound. Called strike by Dave Selden. Thomas has got wheels out there at first, but he's also got a bit of a banged up knee. He got mad at me when I put the steel sign on for him on the weekend. I said, tough.
Yeah.
Go do it.
Crying my soup.
Exactly. I'm a hard case. This misses down and away.
Throwing a lot of pitches, though, Blair.
He is. He's definitely thrown a lot here. But, Joe, it's early, like we said, and he's still finding the rhythm. I don't know if he's been throwing during the week down here in Niagara Falls or not. He does play in the league here in Niagara Falls. He played Monday, says Richie Vassos. Thank you. Chasing one upstairs at the eyes. Nathan Nuku goes down on strikes. So that'll bring up Campbell Macchia.
Number 19, the right fielder, Campbell Macchia.
The last time Campbell was here, he launched one deep to left field. Campbell was on that developmental team that came around and toured a couple of years ago and played the GHFL team here at the park. Square to bunt. This one goes off the glove of Sanford and up to second base. Tiptoeing into second is Thomas Anoka on the pass ball.
I think somebody got a wrong sign, potentially, there.
Well, yeah, Jason right away out to talk with Adam. And
Signal's got crossed there anyway, because you usually don't give up that base that easily.
nope, not at all. So I was talking with Mark Sorensen the other night. He said they're trying to rebuild Campbell's swing, and he's just getting his timing down, and they're real excited about the opportunity that Campbell brings to this team. Real good, another 5-tool player, can hit for power, hit for average, strong arm, and great wheels can run.
The wheels were the package that I liked.
Upstairs, good eye at the plate.
You can't teach speed.
You can't teach speed, and you can't really teach having a good eye either. There are guys who will chase and guys who can hit, but having a good eye is just one of those innate things. And this one, opposite field, but it's going to fall foul down the line up against the fence.
So kind of, Blair, what's the New Zealand team is up here for the purpose of preparation for the Piranha Argentina game?
No, this is just preparation for the Worlds next year.
In Saskatoon.
Yeah, so July of 2015, the ISF Worlds in Saskatoon. New Zealand, of course, the defending champions. This misses downstairs. This is the first time on the 2-year cycle for the ISFs. It's always been quadrennial, and now it's on this 2-year cycle. Every other year there will be an ISF World Men's Championship. So Saskatoon 2015, and then I believe we're going to swing and a miss. So Campbell over the top will pick up that thought in the next inning, as striking out the side around a walk and a pass ball. So for New Zealand, they leave one aboard in the top of the second. We'll head to the bottom of the second inning. It's Hilliard 2
Black Sox
and
the
Black
second
Sox.
inning.
No score.
No runs, no hits, no errors, and one left on base.
So back here on the ISC network, we're still fact-checking on that
For the Hill United Chiefs,
2017 ISF.
is number 18, the left fielder, Mark Johnson.
I can tell you that the ISC next year will be in South Bend, Indiana, and then in 2016 will be in Moline, Illinois. 2017 still to be determined, Joe. We could have it in Ingersoll.
We'll need to talk to the rec director, I think.
Kerr Park, says Richie Vassos. We might have to lengthen the fences. Mark Johnson leading things off here for Hill United in the bottom of the second inning. James Todd-Hunter and then Jason Sanford. Scheduled batters this evening, or this inning rather. Called strike on Johnson. So Regan Manley looking to settle down here a little bit after those 2 long home runs. Misses upstairs.
Mark Johnson's also a tryout on the national program. Correct?
There are plenty of national team players absolutely on this Hill United
Probably at
lineup,
a
loaded
40,
with it.
40 guys still?
Yeah, that it's at 40. It's interesting, we can talk about Team Canada for a bit. You've got the event in Paraná, Argentina this fall, which is the Pan Am qualifier, but we're the host country, so we don't necessarily need to win it. Of course, we'd like to, but we don't need to win it. And I'm told it is Whitehorse. Al Doran says, yes, indeed, it is Whitehorse, so my memory's not as faulty as I thought it was. Johnson down on strikes. So I was talking to a couple of the national team guys who are in the program, and here's the
With one
schedule.
out,
You've got
number
Paraná this
99,
fall.
the shortstop, James
You've got the ISS in Saskatoon, and they're going to have to get together at least a week before that, and so that's a 2 to 2.5 week commitment. Then you got about a week and a half off, and then the Pan Am games start, and in the 5.5 were bobbled, and they're not going to get James Todd-Hunter, so first pitch swinging, and that was bobbled by the shortstop Tyrone Bartarillo. Joe, error?
No, I gave him a base hit.
Oh, that's generous.
Yeah, it was a hard hit ball.
Had to go into the hole.
It was kind of that 5.5 hole. It
Well,
was a little bit off.
we're getting nods all around that was an error. So we'll give him an error.
Okay.
We're giving him a hit?
Yeah.
Okay. No, okay, we're going to give him a hit.
Right.
I disagree, but I'm getting outruled.
Number 8, the catcher,
Jerome Armaki
Jason
come off the
Sanford.
line a little bit on that play, but it was a hard hit ball, and it rocketed up Tyrone's arm.
So Sanford comes to the plate with Todd-Hunter out at first base. Called strike. We'll keep an eye on Todd-Hunter, see if he's on the move at all. This one upstairs. And Ratu looks like he wants to throw down to first base, but Todd-Hunter not getting much of a lead. I'll tell you, Joe, the other catcher here for New Zealand, this young kid, Tawera Bishop, who was drafted by the Red Sox and spent a couple years in the Red Sox system as a 17, 18-year-old. And a bluff off of first base there by Todd-Hunter. Everybody thought he was on the move. Pulled up short after a couple steps. This Bishop kid threw out somebody, had a ball bobbled at his feet, couldn't find it, turned. Our guy went, he picked it up. The ball just exploded out of his arm and arrived at second base in a microsecond. And chop foul at the plate and into the stands, and right back down by the New Zealand bench. And that is the one thing about Lancaster Park. You need to pay attention to the game because the fences here are very short around the playing surface. Bailey Hawani is warming up down the line. Bailey is a youngster here in the Black Sox program. I think he's only 20 years old, but throws, got a nice motion. And he'll be a prospect for this group, but arguably, Joe, really, depending on how you want to classify Regan Manley and Nick Hayes, Jeremy Manley, of course, the ace of the staff. Heine Shannon still in the mix, the veteran lefty. Nick Hayes has thrown the ball very well and got a big win for the Black Sox in the opener of that Trans-Tasman series back in March. So arguably, they're missing their top 3 pitchers here, depending on what Shannon's status is still in the program.
Yeah, it's going to be quite a hole for them to fill.
This one fouled straight back by Jason Sanford.
lot of the other countries saying it's probably a chance for us to catch up.
Well, they still hit with the best of them, without
Yeah.
a doubt. You look around, and this is as good a hitting lineup as there is. Perhaps the only better hitting lineup might be Canada's, but the argument there is where does all the pitching stand, and can the Canadians hit some of the key pitchers? Todd Hunter bluffs again. This one is lifted up in the air, and second base is going to get that. Nathan Nuku is going to come in a couple of steps to catch that high fly ball. So F4 on your scorecard at home. That'll bring up the third baseman and the 9-batter, Craig Crawford.
Number 20, the third baseman, Craig Crawford.
Craig Crawford has retired more times than Brett Favre, and he keeps coming back. This misses downstairs.
Mr. Selden doesn't seem to be giving him that low pitch, and that's kind of the pitch that Reagan Manley's going to need in this game to silence those Hill United bats.
This misses upstairs, so not getting the call downstairs and then missing up top, and now you've got to throw it into a bit of a shoebox to Craig Crawford. And this is what happened at the top of the shop, falling behind and having to come into both Ellsworth and Shales. There's a called strike on the outside corner.
Nice pitch.
Yeah, that was a real good spot, real good location from Regan Manley. So 2-1 on Craig Crawford, 2 down. James Todd Hunter out at first base on a disputed hit. On the move, this one is lifted center field, coming across, and now cutting in front is right fielder Campbell Matthew. Dropped it, and coming around to score is Todd Hunter, who ran it out like you should, and he came around to score as Campbell Macchia drops a routine fly ball. And you might have heard the oohs from the crowd as the New Zealand Black Sox, an uncharacteristic physical error.
Well, it was up there for plenty of
The order
time,
for Hill United.
and him and Beninoka had plenty of time to communicate
Number
back
11, the
and
center
forth.
fielder, Brad
It's just a
Ezekiel.
complete error in the.
So back to the top of the shop, Bradley Ezekiel, who went down on strikes in his first turn. Craig Crawford ended up on second base out of all of that. Manley having to throw some extra pitches this inning, and there's a good-looking changeup way out in front is Bradley Ezekiel. So Hill United extends this lead to 3-0 here in the bottom of the second inning. Regan, plenty of time in between pitches here, and just misses downstairs. He's going to turn his back on this. Now, Joe Todd, you might remember a couple of years ago when Jeremy Manley went for a walk on Dave Selden, and Dave followed him all the way out to second base.
Very short visit.
And this one misses up and in on Bradley Ezekiel. So
He's not hitting the mitt. Him and Stefan Ratu have not communicated well. Ratu's setting up, and that one was way down. So they're not on the same page right now.
ball 4, missing off the plate. Ratu, who hasn't moved around a lot behind the plate, went outside with that one and went to the mitt, but Dave Selden said it was off the plate.
Number 19, the right fielder, Jeff Ellsworth.
So Elsie comes up with a pair of runners aboard here. Craig Crawford still out at second base, and anything after this, it's gravy for the Hill United Chiefs, as it's all unearned.
You You can't give teams like this extra outs.
Chopper right into the glove of Brad Rona to end the inning, but they do pick up the extra run unearned on the dropped fly ball. And through 2 complete, it's Hill United 3, New Zealand no score.
Oh, 5 minutes. Right. So long.
2 innings, 45 minutes.
For the Hill United Chiefs in the bottom of the second inning, they scored 1 run, 1 hit. There was 1 Black Sox error and 1 left on board. After 2 innings of play, your score, Hill United Chiefs 3, and the New Zealand Black Sox, no score.
Leading off the top of the third inning
All Todd.
for the New Zealand Black Sox.
So for the Black Sox chasing 3 big
Number
runs
13,
here.
the catcher,
in
Steven
inning.
Ratu.
Stephen Ratu will lead things off, followed by Tyrone Bartarillo, and then back up to the top of the shop. Called strike to open things for Ratu. Ratu calls time as he wasn't set. Falker is ready to go. Almost quick pitched him.
But yeah, he wanted to take Fulcard out of his routine there. Good play by Ratu.
Missing upstairs. Steven's been over in the past. He was over with the Patsies team out of New York City a few years ago, if I remember correctly. But he hasn't been up in the last few years. And this one fouled straight back. Good hack there by Ratu. New Zealand has been blessed with some quality catching over the years. Paddy Shannon, of course, the acknowledged top one in the world for about the last decade or so. Ratu and this young Tawera Bishop kid coming up behind them. Aaron Nemia has done some time in a backup role for the Black Sox. Campbell Macchia was the catcher on that under-19 team in Whitehorse a couple of years back, and they converted him to the outfield, and this one down and in and skips off of Sanford to the screen.
Must have some great minor softball programs down there to get these kids at ages, we were talking 19, 20, 21, 22, had to be performing at world levels here.
Well, and they've got, as we well know, they've got the club systems with Auckland and Marist and Hutt Valley. Ratu, line shot, gone! Left center field on a line. You could hang clothes on it all the way out. Clears the fence, and Stephen Ratu breaks the goose egg here for the New Zealand Black Sox.
Just a line shot off the bat. Just kept going and going, and you thought the ball might be dying, but I think as it kept going out farther, it exploded even faster. So
Number 46, the shortstop, Tyrone Barbarillo.
Nothing dead about that ball, Joe Todd. That was on a rope and out of here in a hurry. We'll see if Bartarillo wears one. I think it's Bartarillo that used to be the Aussie and has converted to moved across the channel.
Yep.
And he's been a favorite target of Adam Falkard's in the past. And kind of stepped back a little bit on that first pitch. There have been some bench emptying occurrences when this has happened in the past. And trying to slap, and that one goes foul. Well, that's Bartarillo's game, is to slap. He's a speedster. He's down there at the bottom of the order to do that, to slap and to get on base. It's interesting, Shales is still over at second base. Normally when they've got a slapper, they move him around the infield and they bring somebody right in beside Fulker. Everybody's back with 2 strikes, of course, but swing and a miss. Down goes Tyrone Bartarillo, and none the worse for wear.
5th strikeout for Full Card tonight.
Top of the order for the Black Sox. Number 89, the center fielder, Ben Inoka.
So Benny Inoka back to the top of the shop. Benny down on strikes his first trip and gets a called strike here. So 3-1 now with the Steven Ratu home run. And we got ourselves a ball game again, Joe.
Yeah, just a 2-run deficit now. We're only in the 3rd inning. Hill United going up by that 3-1 with those 2 quick home runs back-to-back by Ellsworth and Shales.
0-2 on Ben Inoka. And this one misses upstairs. Chop foul at the plate, dead ball. So still 1 ball, 2 strikes on Ben Inoka, looking to continue the inning here for the New Zealand Black Sox. Adam Folkert, a very tough guy to get on a roll against. But some of the guys who have done it in the past are in this lineup. Ben Inoka, Brad Ronan in particular, the 2 of them just seem to be able to get under Adam's skin a little bit. This one fouled straight back, good cut there by Ben Inoka. Joe, I watched Benny for 5 games last week and pulled the ball once or twice, but boy, does he hit for power to right center field. And that one fouled back out of play on the right side, and you can see that's where he was trying to take that ball.
He has a tendency not to follow through with that back arm, so he's using his front arm as that drive arm, which is spraying that ball out to the right field area.
Brad Ezekiel over a step. Called strike 3 right down Carlton Street for the 2nd strikeout of the inning. Ben Inoka down looking, and that'll bring up Jerome Rymacki. Jerome hit that ground ball to Nick Shales back in the 1st.
Number 6, the 3rd baseman, Jerome Rymacki.
Brad Rona on deck, minus the dreadlocks, Joe Todd.
We talked about that last week. How did he hit this week, Blair?
Hit the ball very hard this week after spending last weekend pitching 2 of the 5 games on the mound and picking up the save in another. So doing double duty was Brad Rona last weekend. Won't do any of that on the tour. And that's probably the last time we expect to use him on the mound as well, but did a wonderful job and not only didn't complain about it, but volunteered to do it. Got off the plane. It was going to be Thomas Sanoka. He had the band-up knee, but Brad said, hey, I'm your man. Give me the ball. 6 2/3 of no-hit shutout in the first game. Shut down the Wiarton Nationals in the next game. Picked up the save against the Waterdown Hammer.
Yeah, I remember meeting him up with the lobby in Stratford last weekend. I said, I hear you're getting the ball. Yeah, no problem, mate.
Romy, a little one-hopper right into the glove of Nick Shales again. And down 4-3 on your scorecard. But Steven Ratu breaks the goose egg with a line shot home run to left center field, leading things off. And we'll head to the home half of the 3rd inning.
1 run on 1 hit.
And it's now Hill United 3 and the New Zealand Black Sox 1. So back here on the ISC network, this historic meeting between the ISC and the ISF world champions, the club team champions and the national team champions. And so far, it's the club team out in
for the Hill
front.
United Chiefs. Number 27, the second
Nick
baseman,
Shales
Nick
leading things off
Shales.
for the Hill United Chiefs out of Six Nations, Ontario, sponsored by the Hill family. Nick Shales was on the second of those two monstrous home runs back in the first inning. Jeff Ellsworth, more of the line shot. Nick Shales, the moonshot variety. As this one misses just off the corner, and Regan Manley turns his back, and a bit of a shake of the head by Stephen Ratzko as well. And that's not going to win you any friends with the Blue, Joe.
No, you just have to take your lumps and move on, and it's a big boy game here, so.
Changeup in the dirt is low. But at the same time, Joe, when you're not getting what you think are strikes, and then, you know, if you're getting forced to come in to hitters like this, we've seen the result already. Regan Manley falling behind back in the first inning, behind both Jeff Ellsworth and Nick Shales. And ball four. Shales, I thought, was going to load up there and maybe go after that 3-0 pitch, but took it on the outside. And a leadoff walk. Joe, how many leadoff walks come around to score?
Over 66%.
Over 66%. So we'll keep an eye on Nick
Number
Shales.
33, the first
He
baseman,
was starting to hit his
Steve
side there, too, as that
Maloney.
ball was hitting, so he's getting in a little bit of a bad habit here.
Steve Maloney down on strikes back in the first. And here's a chopper to Bartarillo that he airmails the second baseman. And out to right covering is Campbell Makia, runs that one back in, but didn't even give Nathan Nuku an opportunity to make the play at second base. Missed him completely.
Just didn't get a proper grip on the ball. The ball was played cleanly off the ground.
It was a bit of a high hopper, but they had him if it's a good throw. I don't know if they ever get two, but they definitely had him at second. Richie Vassos is shaking his head. They had him. So Malali aboard on the error.
Number 10, the
That's
designated player,
Fielder's choice.
Fielder's choice to the
Fielder's
batter.
choice to Malali on the batter, yes. and the error on the throw.
On the
Yeah.
runner to go into second.
So E6 to get him there. So Jason Hill up with two aboard and nobody out here. Squares to bunt. Looked like he missed down low. Jason Hill able to pull the bat back.
Good movement there by the New Zealand infield. Corners charging, shortstop moving over to third with the runner at second base.
But some uncharacteristic errors here by New Zealand. They don't beat themselves, and they're not helping themselves tonight with the defense right now. That third run is unearned, and they're in this spot right now with a walk and a throwing error. Jason Hill, deep to right field, and caught, dropped, home run.
Home run.
Home run. We got the circle signal. Makia had a shot at it, but it went off his glove and it fell on the other side of the fence. So literally, Joe Todd, a fence scraper by Jason Hill and a 3-run shot. And that's going to be it for Regan Manley, as here comes Mark Sorensen. And now that home run, Joe, that's a Lancaster Park home run there. Campbell Makia makes that catch going away in most other parks.
Yeah,
But hey, everybody's playing in the same park.
it's the same diamond, so they all got a shot at that same fence. The big thing is that air set up that whole inning.
It did, because Jason Hill squared the bunt, got the infield moving around.
You're not sure if you're going to get the double play ball, but at least you're going to get the lead runner there.
So Mark Sorensen is going to come in and make the pitching change. Bailey Helwani has been warming up hard down that right field side. And taking his time here is Sorensen. Regan Manley still in disbelief at that home run.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I know I need it. You got the sheets?
Oh, yeah.
So it's Bailey Hawani is the new pitcher for the New Zealand Black Sox. And he comes in trailing now 6-1. As the 3-run home run by Jason Hill puts the Black Sox in a big hole, Joe Todd.
Yeah, big hole. And it's going to be a monumental task to get back up. We'll see what this New Zealand team is made of. The big thing is here, don't try to accomplish too much here. Go out and win an inning.
Now for the New Zealand Black
Take it
Sox.
one inning at a time, win one inning, win another inning. Next thing you know, you're back in the game.
Number 9,
Don't think you're going to pull off 5 runs against an Adam Folkard in one inning.
No, definitely you're not going to get them all back in one inning, but like you said, you just got to chip away.
I need someone to take the key door.
So we'll let Bailey Hawani get his warm-up pitches in here. Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment.
Number 18, the left
So
fielder.
Bailey Hawani on to pitch here
Johnson.
for the New Zealand Black Sox to face Mark Johnson. And Joe Todd, we were talking about national team players for Team Canada. This Hill United lineup littered with them. Mark Johnson, one of them. This one up and in. Mark was on the team that won the Pan Am tournament 2 years ago down in Colombia. Didn't make the trip to New Zealand, but fighting hard to get back onto the team. Swing, chop foul at the plate. Real good wheels, pop in the back, good arm. But we've got a plethora of outfielders here in Canada. You talk about deep outfields, and you look at what Canada can put together. Ellsworth, Matthew Waugh, Brad Ezekiel, Mark Johnson. And that's just the 3 or 4 guys that are right on the national team. There are a number of others that can play into that role as well. Big cut comes up empty.
Hawani did much throwing this week on the tour then?
He started against the Mississauga Arrows on Wednesday night. I don't know if he threw in Stouffville. I don't think so, because I thought that the New Zealand coverage said that our game was his appearance. This one lifted out to right. Campbell Macchia settles under it and makes the catch for what is the first out of the inning. That was a major league fly ball too.
Well, and Campbell Macchia was taking his time with that.
Number 99,
He planted himself
the
under
shortstop,
there.
James
Beninoka was kind
Todhunter.
of giving him the reassurance all the time.
Yeah. But James Todhunter, who had that infield single back in the second and came around to score on the dropped fly ball. This one misses down and in. What we found with Hawani is that you're not quite sure where it's going. I mean, he's all motion, and he wasn't consistently hitting his spots. But clearly, the Black Sox see a lot of natural raw talent there, and he's out here to learn on the trial by fire. But he throws hard, and that's half the battle.
Was Todd Hunter with the Hill United lineup last year?
No, he's an addition from the Australian national team. This one's foul down the right side, out of play, and that's another one into the swimming pool. There's half a dozen over in that swimming pool now. Joe Todd, you'll be over there collecting them later, I know.
Yeah.
You're one of those midnight swimmers.
He had 2 home runs off the Wild.
Todd Hunter also playing in the GHFL, we're told, and hit one out of Kerr Park on Monday night. Hit two out of Kerr Park on Monday night. Well, that's Kerr Park. That's like a banjo park, though. That might be the only park smaller than Lancaster.
Explains why you play so many of them.
Yeah, I know. I've had more than one out of there too, but they were really deep in my day.
I don't want you'll tell your grandchildren anyway.
That's right. Down on strikes goes James Todd Hunter for the second out of the inning. So Bailey Hawani, the youngster, settling things down for the Black Sox a little bit here in the third.
With 2 outs.
Jason Sanford.
Number 8, the catcher, Jason Sanford.
Sandy popped out to Nathan Nuku back in the second inning. Sixth batter of the inning here for Hill United. And this one misses upstairs. And the Black Sox, Joe, very uncharacteristically quiet. They don't often find themselves on the short end of a 6-1 score.
I'm sure that will be discussed later on or at a team meeting tomorrow morning.
This one off the glove of Ratu, back to the screen. There were definite high hopes for this Black Sox team on the way over here. The coverage from New Zealand was talking about potentially doing something that they haven't been able to do in the past, which was maybe to go through a tour undefeated. But certainly that was always going to be a tall order. And I think a lot of people were looking at this very game tonight as the first big test, but they ended up in that 1-1 9-inning draw with the Scarborough Force in Stouffville after the big rainstorm on Tuesday night.
There's some good teams in this tournament, so this will be a big test for everyone here. There's a lot of depth in this tournament.
Absolutely, without a doubt. There's a changeup, and that misses upstairs. And the pace of this one, Joe, has slowed considerably. And there's another sky-high fly ball. Nathan Nuku calling for it on the edge of the grass. One step in onto the dirt and collects up another fly ball from the bat of Jason Sanford. But it's Jason Hill with the fence scraper, a 3-run home run, scoring Nick Shales and Steve Mullally. And for the Hill United Chiefs, through 3 complete, they now lead 6-1.
For the Hill United Chiefs in the bottom of the third inning. They scored 3 runs on 1 hit. There was 1 Black Sox error, and no one left on base. Your score after 3 innings of play, the Hill United Chiefs 6, New Zealand Black Sox 1.
So Brad Rona set to lead things off for the New Zealand Blackhawks. Brad grounded out to Nick Shales to end the first inning. And looks at a ball down. Off air, we were talking about Brad has
A new look.
has a new look indeed. has had the dreadlocks cut off. And chases this one up and out of the zone.
He looks like a recruit from the New Zealand Police Dispatch. And he's a big boy, too. He's just strong and thick.
This one misses down and in. Took Brad a while to get going here this week. Was concentrating on the pitching, as we were just talking off air as well, for Toronto on the weekend. But hit the ball well this week. And the eye is still there, as that one just off the corner. Maybe a little bit high as well. So the Black Sox chasing a 6-1 deficit. And Rona off field on the run, making the catch is Jeff Ellsworth, running that one down into the corner. As Brad just flicked the wrists and sent Ellsworth scurrying over to the corner to track that one down.
Great range there by
Number
Ellsworth.
22, the designated player,
Track that
Donnie
down.
Hale.
Because that ball was tailing away on him, too.
Yeah, all the way down to the corner there. 225 down the right field line, 235 in center, 240 in left field. Donnie Hale at the plate, struck out back in the top of the second inning as he got tied up on that good inside dip by Adam Falker. Misses upstairs for ball one. And again for ball two.
Donnie's still one of the traditionalists, likes to pull the pants up, have the socks showing. Not many of the boys still like that look.
Big cut foul at the plate. When you hit like Donnie Hale, you can wear whatever you want.
You wear pink socks if you want.
The one in the trees off of Corey Brew.
Donnie, of course, plays professionally in Japan during their fastball season. This one is lifted foul out of play. And here's another guy who could probably pitch at the top level if he wanted to. Came up through the minor system as a pitcher hitter, as a lot of guys do, of course. But focused on the hitting.
He's got a real open stance at the plate and then closes it down as he moves in.
So 3 balls, 2 strikes on Donnie Hale. 1 down here in the top of the 4th inning. Hill United out in front, 6-1. And this one is way up in the air, straight away center field. Bradley Ezekiel camps under it and waits for it to come down.
That was a high shot. That was one of those moon shots that you're sitting there waiting and waiting for, trying to get that ball into your glove.
Well, just about every player I know
Number 20, the left
needs to
fielder,
be on
Thomas
the receiving
Inoka.
side of those things. Campbell Macchia hit a couple of those satellite shots in the qualifier in the weekend. I know the infielders wanted no part of them, partly because they were looking into a setting sun, which didn't help. So 2 down, Thomas Inoka now at the plate. Thomas walked and got up to second. It was as far as he made it back in the second. And here's a one-hopper right into the glove of Nick Shales. Flipped to first for the out, so...
Could see first. Just see that hit anyways.
So Bailey Hawani back out on the mound for the Hill United Chiefs, or facing the Hill United Chiefs rather. And leading off for the Chiefs, it is Craig Crawford.
Number 20, the third baseman, Craig
Be followed then by the
Crawford.
top of the order, Bradley Ezekiel, Jeff Ellsworth. Hawani misses down and away for ball 2. Craig, of course, Joe, a veteran of the wars for years and years, the catcher for the Waterloo Twins, later the Kitchener Twins.
Well respected, made Team Canada a few times too, I believe.
Yeah, he was on Team Canada when they went to South Africa back in 2000, I think it was. He and Frank Cox had that famous run-in the night before they had to get on the plane together.
And that was not the first Frank Cox and Craig Crawford run in.
No, it was not.
I remember one in Interkip one night.
Ground ball picked up on by Rymacki right on the line at the bag, and the toss over to Brad Rona at first for the first out of the inning. 5-3 in your scorecard at home. So Brad Ezekiel
Top of the
will
order.
step up.
Number 11, the center fielder, Brad Ezekiel.
Bradley's got a strikeout and a walk. Of course, both of those came against Regan Manley. Called strike on the inside corner. Bradley tried to jackknife out of the way, but a called strike.
Between these two teams, we've only seen a couple of guys on that side of the plate. Like maybe 4 batters, I believe, in the whole 2 lineups. I don't know if they're predominantly thinking about that or not, but
Well, the Chiefs have, you're absolutely right, Joe, the Chiefs have predominantly a right-handed hitting lineup. There are a couple of lefties, but not many. Jeff Ellsworth being one. And they were set up that way for a couple of reasons. One, to face Andrew Kirkpatrick, and 2, to face Paul Court. This one is drilled to center field. Over the trees. Way out onto Carleton. Somebody sitting on their front yard on the opposite side of the street just got a souvenir. Bradley Ezekiel. The home run parade continues here for the Hill United Chiefs, the 4th one of the evening.
no one was worried about having a car hit
With
there.
one out.
I think it cleared the road.
Number
It
19, the right
absolutely
fielder,
cleared the
Jeff Ellsworth.
Now, I can remember back in the day a few balls when those trees were 20 years younger, and some balls landing across the street off the bat of guys like Byron DeMoe and some of the other locals that played here and starred here for teams like the St. Catharines Ovations and those Cleveland junior teams, Joe Todd, that you talked about. Mountain View Homes had the senior team here for a couple of years as well. And back in the old IFL days.
OFL.
OFL. Well, the IFL was the local league.
Yeah.
The OFL was what I meant to say. You're right. chopped by Elsley. Nuku, the flip to first and safe as Jeff Ellsworth motoring out of the box, and that hopper to Nuku, and it was always going to be touch and go as to whether or not he was going to get him. And by the time it came down, Ellsworth was getting close to the bag. So an infield single for Jeff Ellsworth on the heels of that massive home run by Bradley Ezekiel.
One out.
The
Number
hit parade
27,
continues
the second
here
baseman,
for the
Nick
Hill United Chiefs.
Shales.
So, Joe, you look at this lineup. Ezekiel is Canada national team, LZ Canadian, Shales Australia, Mullally, Jason Hill, Mark Johnson on the Canadian team, Todd Hunter, Australian team, Jason Sanford is on the Canadian team, and then the veteran Craig Crawford, who's been on the Canadian team.
Still a very formidable lineup. Obviously, they're still out trying to come back as a repeat champion.
Shales in the 5.5 hole gets past the diving Rymacki, and Bartarillo is unable to run that one down on the backhand. Warming up for New Zealand is Campbell Gibson. And Joe, like I said, you'll be, when you see this kid's mechanics, it'll be something else. You wouldn't teach anybody to pitch this way, but... So 3 straight hits for Hill United. Brings up Steve Mullally. Steve reached on the fielder's
Number 33, the
choice.
first baseman, Steve
Came around to score on that
Mullally.
3-run home run by Jason Hill an inning ago. And big cut. And running in front hits Jeff Ellsworth, and he is going to be out as he ran right into that ground ball right in front of Bartarillo. And just that's a bit of a bad break for the Hill United Chiefs. So runner interference.
Number 10,
on
the
the play.
designated player, Jason Hill.
And Mullally is what? Fielder's choice? Yep, fielder's choice aboard for Steve, the second one in a row. So Jason Hill, who went opposite, or pulled it rather, just to the right side of that scoreboard the last time he was up. So some baptism by fire for Bailey Hawani facing this mighty Chiefs lineup here this evening. Time called at the plate by the umpire. I'm not sure by who, because it looked like Jason Hill was ready to go. And a bit of grief being given there by the New Zealand team, as it was real late there when Dave Selden called time.
Yeah.
Hawani was literally letting go of the ball when time was called.
Yeah, I'm not sure the circumstances there. I don't know if a bug got in his eye or something, but...
So we'll start over again with Hawani and Hill. And there's a change-up. Jason Hill way out in front.
I haven't seen the change-up bunch, so it's there. He's now showing it. At least it's in his array of pitches.
There is not a breath of wind here at the park as the Canadian flag in straightaway center field hangs on that flagpole. No movement whatsoever. Just an absolutely picture-perfect night here for ball in St. Catharines, Ontario. The ISC World Champions, the club team champions, out in front of the ISF champions. Hill United now 7-1 on top of the New Zealand Black Sox. And this one fouled straight back into the screen.
You saw Jason's warm-up there. Obviously, you're not seeing it at home. But he almost comes down, and even his warm-up, as an undershot, golf shot, really. And that's how he hit that home run, too.
Yeah, he went down and got it.
He went
just
down and got
looped
it.
that one right
And looped
out
it
of
on the park.
Yeah.
And he usually, when you practice your level swings, you know, you practice them, keeping that bat level, and then you're coming through the letters of your sweater.
Jason's got that real uppercut swing. Big cut there. Down goes Jason Hill for the third out of the inning. But Bradley Ezekiel adds to the home run parade for the Hill United Chiefs. They're now out in front 7-1 through 4 complete. We'll head to the top of the 5th with the New Zealand Black Sox sending to the plate Nathan Nuku, Campbell Makia, and Stephen Ratu. Come back and join us.
For the Hill United Chiefs in the bottom of the 4th inning, they scored 1 run, they had 3 hits, they left 2 on base, and there were no New Zealand errors. Your score after 4 complete innings, the Hill United Chiefs 7, the New Zealand Black Sox 1.
Ninth spot in the order. 20 is out. 15 is in.
Defensive change for the Hill United Chiefs. Replacing Craig Crawford and now playing third base, number 15, Ryan Thompson.
Back to work here. Come on, Deke. Here we go, boys. Go ahead.
Back here in the ISC network, it's Nathan Nuku, the captain of the Black Sox. He and his mates are trailing 7-1. He looks at one low from Adam Folkert. Adam and the Hill United Chiefs have been on a tear here tonight with the bats, Joe Todd. 4 big home runs for Hill United. 3 of them monstrous. One of them a 3-run, which was the shortest one of the night, just scraped over the fence.
7 hits so far, but 3 have been the long ball. 4, sorry, you're right, 4.
Big cut by Nathan Nuku. Let's try that again. Nathan Nuku kind of stepped into the bucket though and pulled the head out. Nate, of course, was a late addition to the Black Sox in the ISF World Team last year, but came up big, hit the ball all week long for the Black Sox and helped lead them to that World Championship in North Shore in Auckland.
Nathan Nuku.
3 balls, 2 strikes on Nukes, leading things off here in the 5th. Defense is straight away for Hill United. And there's ball 4. That one down and away. So Nuku, a leadoff walk, and a little bit of life here for the Black Sox. Campbell Makia will step in.
Number 19 is the right fielder, Campbell
Adam has given up
Makia.
tonight. Second. Walked Anoka back, Thomas Anoka back in second.
And missing upstairs. Good lead by Nate, but not going anywhere at this point in the game, not at this score. On deck is Stephen Ratu. He's been all the offense for the Black Sox. That laser beam line drive home run. That was in the 3rd. A lot of the crowd has hung around to watch the completion of this one, despite the somewhat lopsided score at this point. Of course, before the game, Joe Todd, the New Zealand Black Sox did the haka, the traditional Maori war dance, entertaining the crowd here and showing their respect for the Hill United Chiefs.
If you've never seen it, you should try and catch it.
It is absolutely something to see. They did it on Wednesday night in Mississauga before the second game against the Toronto Gators. And I can tell you without a doubt that it is spine-tingling to be on the field when these guys break into that.
Saw it in '96, the ISFs in Midland, and it sent shrills up my back.
Big cut coming up empty is Campbell Makia. Called strike 3. Down goes Campbell. Thought maybe he had worked a walk, but punched out on the outside corner.
Number 13,
Campbell,
the catcher,
one
Steven
forwards and one
Ratu.
backwards tonight. So Steven Ratu, after getting plunked on the hand on Wednesday night, has rebounded here. And again, we talked about how durable catchers are. There's a perfect example, Joe Todd. Missing upstairs. Nuka gets a really healthy lead every time out there. Good jump off the bag. He's 6 or 7 steps. And this one, again, smashed and gone. It disappears over the fence. Another line drive home run. This one about one panel over to the right. And this game isn't over yet, folks. It's now 7-3. And Steven Ratu on a tear here this evening for the New Zealand Black Sox.
He's obviously got Adam Fulcard's number tonight. And again, just another clothesline, whatever you want to call it, the rocket.
With 1 out.
Well, that ball was never more
Number
than
46,
10 feet off the ground.
Tyrone
And it just
Barbarillo.
was climbing still when it went over the fence, it looked like. Because that was off the shoe tops, too. He went down and got that. Barbarillo's got a notion to slap. And so maybe this is just difference in coaching style, too, Joe. Last year with Doug Eit, they would pull the defense across and have Shales over at third, and Ryan Thompson would be in tight from second and trying to drop it down, and fouling it off at the plate is Barbarillo.
Steven and new third baseman Ryan Thompson now in the game, playing the third base corner for the Hill United team, replacing Craig Crawford.
Called strike on the outside corner as Barbarillo looked like he had a notion to bunt, but pulled it back. And this one is laced foul on the left side, not a play.
Larry, you told me my car would be safe where it was.
Well, the only one that was close was Greg Garrity's. I was a little worried about that one. Yeah, I was a little worried about that one. And swing and a miss in the dirt. Sanford is going to pick it up and flip the first for the second out of the inning. Barbarillo on strikes for the
Top of
second
the order
time tonight.
for the Black Sox.
So to bring us back to the top of the shop for Ben Anoka, Benny has gone down swinging in the first and caught looking in the third. So looking to get off the schneid here in the fifth. How many strikeouts for Adam, Joe?
7.
Had a notion to go. They're going to check, and yes, says Jay Hart. I didn't think so, but Jay did. So now he gives a shrug of the shoulders. You know, Mr. Casual.
How you doing?
And there's a called strike on the outside corner. So again, Ben Anoka down in a hole 0-2. He was able to work his way back to a full count in the first, but I think he only saw 4 pitches in that second at bat.
But he's a great leadoff hitter, though. He just...
And this one is laced and just foul. Steve Mullally watched that one go over top of the orange bag.
Struggled tonight with the 2 strikeouts, but he's still a number 1 leadoff man. He gets on base, he's got a great eye usually, and he doesn't try to kill it, he tries to find a hole. He'll look around, he's almost like a place hitter.
And this one misses inside. And the thing with Benny, too, is just the speed. I mean, 6 strides and he's at the bag, and he gets around to second base so quickly. Somebody said it called him a gazelle on the weekend. They meant it in an endearing way. Here's a little bleeder. Mullally reaches over to his right, scoops it up. So the Black Sox pick up a pair on the leadoff walk, another one that comes around to score. This one on the home run by Steven Radu, his second of the night. He's got all 3 RBIs for the New Zealand Black Sox. We'll head to the home half of the 5th. It's now Hill United 7 and New Zealand 3.
For the Black Sox in the top of the 5th inning, they scored 2 runs on 1 hit. There are no errors and no one left on base.
Meredith's got that back.
Ninth spot in the order. 40 yourself. 58 in.
So Josh Harbrow comes in defensively to replace Tyrone Bartarillo at shortstop for the New Zealand Black Sox. We want to give a shout out to our ISC statistician Gary Boffman, who's listening back home in Iowa, and he corrects us on the play where the batted ball by Mulally hit Jeff Ellsworth as the runner. Ellsworth is called out, but Steve Mulally gets a hit on the play. So thank you, Gary, for that one. So Bailey Holani still working in relief. It's Mark Johnson leading things off here for Hill United. Here's a chopper. Rymacki's got to hurry. Strong throw when they get Mark Johnson at first base by a step. That little slow roller up along
Number
third
99
base.
is the shortstop, James.
And that's good defense by Rymacki to come get that.
Well, Rymacki's got the arm to make that play, too. He just fired a bullet over to Brad Rona at first base.
James Todd Hunter. Single, scored in the second, strikeout in the third. And this one misses down and in, and Ratu's going to hang on to that ball for a minute. Bit of a shake of the head, and now flip it back, and he's going to talk over his shoulder and ask Dave Selden where that pitch missed. I don't know that that's going to get you far.
No.
Not with Dave Selden, anyway. Maybe some other guys, but not Dave Selden.
Obviously with a 7-3 margin, but you look at where Jerome Rymacki's playing behind the bag right now.
Todd Hunter swings and misses at one in the eye. So we saw this a lot from the international players. They don't play in deep, or in tight rather, against most of the batters. They will play the extra hop and rely on the arm to get the ball across the infield.
Yeah. Just, we don't see that style up here in Canada.
No, we do not. No, we do not. And it's just, it is indifferent how you play the game. Brad Rona is maybe a step in front of the bag at most at first.
She's outside. She doesn't have a phone.
Rymacki is 2 steps behind the bag, as he said. Hawani's fallen behind James Todd Hunter here. Called called strike 3. Down goes James Todhunter on a full count pitch. Whatever he was looking for, that wasn't it. Couldn't pull the trigger.
Third strikeout for Bailey Hawani tonight.
With 2 outs. With number 8.
Jason
Professor
Sanford has hit a
Jason
pair of fly
Sanford.
balls sky high in the infield. Nathan Nuku has been camped under both of them. And big cut comes up empty. And this one is poked foul out of play down the right side, and I thought a fan was going to make a play on that one, but decided wisely to let it land in front of him instead. When you're teetering on the edge of the step, don't lean forward.
I like my teeth where they are.
Well, yeah, A, you're going to wear it in the chops on the bounce, and B, don't fall down the stairs. Kalani misses on the outside corner. Joe, I talked with Adam Falkert in the offseason for the story in the ISC guide, and he just had absolute nothing but praise for Sanford. As this one, again, sky high in the infield, and Nuku 3 times tonight has had to come in and camp under those satellite shots from Jason Sanford. Just want to finish that story before we take a break. Just had nothing but praise for how well Jason Sanford caught in the World Tournament last year in Quad Cities. How he handled
For Hill United in the bottom of the 5th inning,
calling the
nothing across.
games.
Your score after
Just
5
phenomenal
innings
with
of
the
play.
glove. And
The Hill United
shout out
Chiefs,
to
7,
Jason Sanford for that
and the New
accomplishment,
Zealand Black
catching
Sox,
the
3.
perfect game in the winter bracket final, and then 7 1/3 innings of no hit ball in the championship game. So well done, Jason Sanford. As we'll take a break. Hill United still leads 7-3. We'll head into the top of the 6th inning. Come back.
Leading off the top of the 6th inning for the New Zealand Black Sox.
Number 6, the third baseman.
So
number
Jerome
1,
Rymack will lead
Rick
things
Lucky.
off here for the New Zealand Black Sox in the top of the 6th inning. Need to get some runners aboard. The Black Sox, ideally for them, would get the bases loaded for Stephen Radu.
Yeah, and Hill United on that side of the coin are just looking for 6 more outs to get out of this thing and call it a night.
So it's Rymaki, Rona, and Hale, the meat of this New Zealand Black Sox order. This one is drilled way back and gone. Home run derby here as Jerome Rymaki launches one to center field.
Just the third hit tonight for the New Zealand Black Sox.
They've all been home
All
runs.
3 have been home runs.
Wow. So a leadoff home run gets them a little bit closer, and you can never count out the New Zealand Black Sox with these sticks.
Head coach John Hill calling time, going out to the mound.
Well, he just hung that one. Adam Folkert just hung that, making a rare mistake. The Radu home runs, he's gone down and got both of them. Well, that one was well up in the strike zone, and Jerome Rymack, he did what you're supposed to do with hanging rise balls, and he hit it 400 feet.
Well, I imagine he's just checking with Adam to make sure he hasn't run out of gas, and if you run out of gas, that's fine. It's early in the year for you, and get your innings in and
Yeah, so it looks like Mitch Hardy is now warming up down that left field bullpen.
Number 15, the first baseman, Brad Rona.
And Brad fouls this one off out of play down the right side. That's another swimming pool ball, I think.
Jeff Ellsworth has to be aware that where Brad Rona tailed on that ball last time. Hit a bit of a rope out to right field.
So 7-4 now. The Black Sox creeping back in. Here's a one hopper to the shortstop Todd Hunter, and the overhand flip to first for the first out of the inning. So Brad Rona 0 for 3 on the night, and that'll bring up Donnie Hale. Donnie certainly more than capable of launching one out here. The Lancaster launching pad.
Number 22, the designated
When I saw
player, Donnie
the
Hale.
teams that were here, I go, we've been to the park last year a few times, but
There's a little flare that's going to die out in front of the left fielder, Mark Johnson. Little duck snort dying quail from the bat of Donnie Hale. Not the guy you expect to hit a little softy, but he's aboard with a single.
just continuing
Number
my
20,
thought
the
there. I
left
knew there was
fielder,
going to be a lot of
Thomas
home runs here.
Inoka.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Thomas Anoka has got plenty of pop. He can hit the ball out of the yard. He hit one 312 in Mitchell that unfortunately was caught. 313-foot center field fence. This one up and in as Anoka backpedals out of the way. I tell you, Adam Falker doesn't like giving up home runs.
No. I'm sure that somebody's probably going down to Mitch Hardy now and just toss a little harder.
Chopper foul down the right side.
Well, we're finally seeing some life on the New Zealand bench, too.
Yeah, they're back up on their feet, right at the fence. This one is smoked to center field, and that one is gone. So Thomas Anoka tomahawks one out of the yard. That pitch was at his eyes. And the launching pad continues here tonight. So a 2-run bomb, and none of these have been cheap, Joe Todd. And we've got something being said here as the Black Sox are going to come out off the field. They're being waved back to the dugout. Did somebody say something on the way by?
Well, I'm wondering if Nathan and Adam had comments back and forth.
Nate's being waved back to the bench by Jay Hart, telling him to get back on the other side of the line. There is some bad blood here, without a doubt, and I told you, Adam Falker does not like giving up home runs. I don't know if something was said coming around the bases. It looked to me like Thomas got around the bases in a hurry, put his head down. He didn't.
It had nothing to do with
He didn't take his time.
There's something said between him and Folker while he was going around the bases. I don't know what it was.
Well, that's going to be it for Adam. He's going to hand the ball off to, it looks like Jeff Therian, actually. So Mark Sorensen and Adam are engaged in a polite conversation. But Mark is listening to what Adam has got to say. John Hill had stepped in between them. Now Adam's on the bench and is continuing the conversation with Mark. And he's not too impressed, I can tell you that. Not at all. So we'll have to do some scouting and some beer garden reporting and find out what was said there to provoke all that consternation. But the Black Sox have drawn within a run here in the 6th inning. Jerome Rymacki, a home run. Thomas Anoka, a 2-run home run, sandwiched around a single by Donnie Hale. And the rate the balls have been flying out of here, Joe Todd, I'm going to suspect that the final score is not going to be 7-6.
No, I think they better call the sports store or another dozen balls, too.
Yeah, there's somebody over on Carlton Street who's got 7 of them on his front lawn right now because they've all kind of gone out in that 30, 40 square foot area just to the left of that flagpole. So Jeff Farian, who last year was with the Jarvis Holman Twins and trades uniforms to go over to Hill United. Grant Patterson, who was with Hill United, retired after last year's World Championship.
That is Jeff Ferry.
Farian, of course, out of
That's the change
Saskatoon
for the Hill
area.
United Chiefs. Replacing Adam Folkart and now pitching. Number 21, Jeff Farion.
But Joe Todd, when was the last time Adam Folkard got knocked out of a ballgame?
Yeah.
I know it's early, and he's only been here for a week, and he hasn't been pitching for a couple of months in Australia.
I think so.
But
Four home runs in 6 innings.
I don't remember the last time I saw Adam get knocked out of a ballgame. So Farian kicks deals, and Nuku Nuku had a notion. They
Number
asked,
12, the second baseman,
and yes, he
Nathan
did,
Nuku
says
Nuku.
Mike Morrissey down third base line. And a bit of a half swing there from Nuku Nuku, who wasn't committed to it and just kind of floated the bat through the zone. One down here in the inning. It's now 7-6 for Hill United. We talked about the power in that Black Sox lineup. Here's a little bleeder in front. Thompson barehands it and can't get Nathan Nuku Nuku. The only way he was even going to have a play was to barehand it. He was able to pick it clean, but Nuku Nuku with good wheels beats it out. And we got ourselves a ball game here, Joe Todd. It took a while to get here. It was on a low simmer, but we got one on boil now.
Number 19,
6th inning.
the right fielder,
They're leading by a
Daniel
score of
Mafia.
7-6. Now we have a runner at first base and 1 down.
And it's an interesting selection, too, Joe Todd. Nathan Nuku Nuku, left-handed batter, but now there's a bunch of righties here for the Black Sox. And with the lefty Farian, this kind of plays right into the Black Sox favor.
Campbell has not looked good at the plate tonight.
No, he has struggled. He had a triple and a single in a couple of at-bats in Mississauga on Wednesday. I said, talked with Mark Sorensen, and he said they're trying to rework his swing. Big cut. He hit a couple of satellite fly balls on the infield on the weekend in Mitchell, just hitting the bottom of the ball, not the back of it. We talked about just trying to hit more line drives. Squares to bunt, popped up. Farian's going to try and flip it, but Nuku Nuku slides feet first back into first base.
Good play by the New Zealand Black Sox to lay that bunt down. See if the corners were sharp. Ryan Thompson got up pretty clean there.
With 2 outs. Number 13, the catcher,
Tried to catch him by
Steven
surprise,
Radu.
but it didn't work out. Steven Radu, who's been the hottest stick in the lineup here. Not the guy you want to see if you're the Hill United Chiefs, but perhaps the change in pitcher will help. Farian pours in a strike.
Not bad when your number 8 batter can have 2 home runs and 3 RBIs.
You'll take that every night of the week.
Yeah.
So Nuku Nuku out at first base on that infield single. 2 down here in the inning. It's now 7-6 for Hill United. Called strike in the outside corner. Radu down 0-2, and he's wondering where those calls are for his side in the other half of the inning. Had a little word for Dave Selden. Farian. Nuku Nuku on the move. It squirts through Sanford. And he takes a couple of steps off, bluffs a throw. So Mark Sorensen elects to put the runner in motion with 2 strikes and the 8 batter at the plate, but it pays off.
Farron acknowledges to Sanford that it was his fault on that pitch.
Yeah, he kind of left him a little short, didn't he? So the tying run now at second base, Steven Ratu. There's a bleeder out into the field. That's going to fall in. We got ourselves a tie ball game. Ratu motors on into second base as that one fell in the gap between Ellsworth and Bradley Ezekiel. Steven Ratu, 3 for 3 on the night. 2 home runs, a double, 4 RBIs.
Good power there by Ratu to drive that ball out to that. Oh, about 1 o'clock on your clock at home.
Okay, where's the center field being noon, I
4
guess.
o'clock being noon.
Okay, thank you. Clarify that one a little. How about right center?
Right center?
There we
Okay.
go. You got it. So Josh Harbrow is the scheduled batter. We're going to get a 2-out catcher replacement here. That's in play this weekend.
That's an optional play.
It is. So Campbell Macchia, who's got great wheels, there's a great trade. You get Campbell Macchia, who is one of the faster guys in the game to run for your catcher. So Josh Harbrow, who is into the game at
Number
short for
68,
Tyrone
first
Barbarella.
up, Josh Harbrow.
Josh Pettit warming up down in the New Zealand bullpen.
And I guess now that's Mitch Hardy throwing for Hill United again. Called strike on Harbrow. So 7-7, Joe. Can somebody get the 2-point conversion and win this one? Big cut by Josh Harbrow. He's a big, tall, strapping young lad.
Got good bat speed though. He kept right up with that pitch. He just missed it really. Turns his hands very well.
Chop foul at the plate. Something that the Black Sox do very well. They try to tip the pitches from second base. You see Campbell Macchia. He'll step back if the location is inside or out. They were nodding up and down the other night, even on us when they were up. Head down was the drop, obviously. Head up was the rise. There, Macchia steps to the backside of the bag. Chasing upstairs. Down goes Josh Harbrow.
Big strikeout there for Ferrier to shut the inning.
But the New Zealand Black Sox score 3 on the home runs by Rymaki and Thomas Anoka. The bench is clear. No punches are thrown. We got it all going on here, Joe Todd. We're going to head to the bottom of the 6th inning. It's New Zealand 7, Hill United 7. Who's going to win it?
For the Black Sox, in the top of the 6th inning, they scored 4 runs on 6 hits. There were no errors and 1 left on base.
Is there any left? Are they selling them in the parking lot or?
In the pool.
Oh, Elton.
All right.
Leading off the bottom of the 6th inning for the Hill United Chiefs is number 15, the third baseman, Ryan Thompson.
Come on, Archie! Come on, Rhino! Come on, young buck! Hey, come on! Come on, young buck!
I won't be here tomorrow, so I'll see you Sunday.
Due to the time limit, your final score, Hill United Chiefs 8, New Zealand Black Sox 7.